Austin 316 says I'm gonna kick both y'all's asses. Fuck you.
Yo, fuck y'all. I'd like to see you fucking try string bean.
Oh, Will!
What's up, everybody? My name is Sam, and this is the internet where things happen. And today is another episode of the vidcast. I'm tired. Today I'm joined by the usual crew of miscreants, and that is one Cole Duncan.
Hey.
And one Zach James.
Oh yeah, happy to be here, Sam, with a couple of macho men like you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Massive macho men.
I got you for 3 minutes of playtime.
Oh yeah, 3 on the mat, shoulders down, yeah.
The cream rises to the top. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, greatest intercontinental champion there's ever been, yeah, brother, yeah. Gonna snap into your spine like I snap into a Slim Jim, brother, yeah. Dig it!
R.I.P.
Yep. Cole, you want anything to add?
I really like Ric Flair.
Get the fuck out. So actually, funny story. Oh my god. I don't know what he just threw, but it sounded
It sounded big.
Holy shit.
It was my keyboard, and I didn't plan on throwing it hard, but
that's when you put the fucking technical difficulties.
But then you keep the whole thing anyway, afterward.
I should go check on the wall.
Yeah. Top 10 fucking anime betrayals over here. Holy shit.
Woo!
Everything's fine. Everything's fine.
So, as I was saying before, Sam fucking lost his shit.
You launched that.
I'm honestly surprised we didn't see keys fly by the camera.
Sam, everything. Hold on. Let me test the keyboard. Hold on.
Oh man.
Yeah, everything's good.
That's the power of the Ric Flair drip, honestly.
So we when I was in college, because I went to a military school for my first 2 years of college, we would fuck with the people who were in charge of us, because someone who was in charge of the formation would just go, Ric Flair, and we go, woo, in formation. And it's great because you'd see all the fucking heads turn what the fuck is G Company up to, you know? This is the same time that we had this one pain in the ass Marine, I think staff sergeant, who was in charge of the cadets. And but he just was a hard ass, and he'd never gone to combat or anything. So he'd be walking in front of us, so we'd just be like, boot, boot, which is, a derogatory term for someone with no experience. He'd be like, who the fuck said that? And then from across the formation, boot.
I slept in extra, a little bit, just because I was, I'm not having to go to work as early. All of a sudden, at 8 a.m., I start hearing crazy shit behind my bed. Pounding, and then I hear footsteps on the roof. Turns out my apartment complex was turns out my apartment complex was oh yeah, no, we're doing inspections today. We just didn't tell anyone. I was oh, dope. Thanks for that.
I was gonna say it's a happy birthday to your neighbor, Zach. Have you seen that Key and Peele sketch, the mattress store?
I think I have.
Oh, I'll clip it in here.
I should also mention there's a 100% money back guarantee on this.
Yeah. Who got that good D? I got that good D. Yeah.
No, it's too hard.
But yeah, it's just your neighbors fucking.
Boom, 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 boom.
There's no.
Who got that good D? Who got that good D?
There's no one on where my mattress is, where my head is. It's outside. It's just
they were on
outside.
they were on window cleaner harnesses, just fucking pounding ass.
Yeah. They were just tandem fucking. That's what it was.
Cleaning glass and pounding ass. Ooh, yeah.
So another thing we would do is I don't know how the fuck it started, but we would like lean out the window to go, "It's my money and I need it now," and then
it's fucking my money and I need it now.
So you'd have like 4 or 5 of us. It's my money and I need it now. It's my money and I need it now. And then you hear someone go, "Shut the fuck up!" And then all 5 of us, "It's our money and we need it now."
It's my money and I need it now.
It's my money, and I need it now.
Shut the fuck up!
I have a structured settlement.
And I need cash now.
Call J.G. Wentworth.
877 cash now.
It's your money. Use it when you need it.
Call J.G. Wentworth, 877 cash now.
I used to think they were regional, and they're not. They're clearly national because everybody I know knows about J.G.
So
Wentworth.
I actually used to think that with have you guys ever heard Delilah on the radio?
Oh yeah.
If I can play something special for you tonight, call me at 1-888-6-DELILAH on Soft Rock KQ 102.
I used to think she was just like my fucking local channel. And then someone from like Texas was like, "Oh yeah, I know Delilah." I was like, "How the fuck do you know Delilah?" Like I got like offended by it.
She's my Delilah, not your Delilah. Hey there, Delilah.
What's it like in New York City? Where you're supposed to be?
Wow. There's one.
Well, that's 2 out of 3 freakouts now for this episode. All we got to do is
yeah, we just need one for Cole. Cole usually does have a freakout, but
that
he
is
usually
true.
knocks something over at least once
you
per
are
episode.
a melodramatic fucking person.
Yeah, so
really
we're basically
I really am.
We're basically like 3 for 3 in advance, so we're good.
He paid it forward.
Do you guys know who Dyer Garofalo, Man and Schultz is?
That
Does he
sounds
have a stroke?
The Tiger. It's Dyer Garofalo, Man and Schultz. Get the Tiger on your side.
Get the tiger on your side. Call today.
They're in a
I
tournament,
have,
like a
yeah,
law
No.
I have seen those.
Yeah. Oh man, it might have been like an Eastern United States thing then,
Like a
because
public
lived on
access thing.
well, you live in fucking Tennessee, like a Northeastern fucker. You know what the fuck I meant?
Whoa. Okay.
Hate you. Fucking hate this podcast.
This was your idea.
I just get
I'm just here.
I didn't ask to be born into this podcast.
You're not my dad.
Get out of my room. I'd spend less than a 3 days grace and brood.
Yes. What did you guys want to be when you grew up?
I actually I always wanted to be a soldier. But I also, for a while when I was a kid, probably between the ages of like 9 and 12, I wanted to be both a marine biologist and an oceanographer.
Okay. I feel like I would be I'm scared of the ocean.
I am too. I'm terrified of it.
Because it's like there's so much and there's like it's so deep and there's so many things about it. We know so much about space and that is like way up there. But this is here and we know nothing about it.
So actually I've been watching a lot of things. They do live things on YouTube. It's called the Nautilus, and I guess it's like a very deep sea submersible like camera drone that they send down there.
Really?
They see some cool shit on there. And I've also been watching a lot about these things called brine pools. I don't know if you've heard about them or not. But
No.
basically what it is, and I'm paraphrasing here, but I guess it's like super salinated water, so it's really fucking salty to the point where like fish go into fucking toxic shock if they go into it. And the density of it is so weird that it almost forms like oceans within the ocean, because it forms this basically opaque, salty
Like
top
pockets?
layer, and then it'll have a shore of dead like mollusks and shit like that. So it's literally, it's almost like Goo Lagoon. Yeah, it's fucking wild. And it's
that's the thing. That is fascinating and terrifying at the exact same time.
yeah.
Am I incorrect in saying like when it's like over salinated, like that's the kind of shit that they have in like total immersion chambers, like where you're like completely.
I don't think
like,
it's to that level, but
you know what I'm talking about, right?
I do. But it's crazy because like the fish obviously don't know what it is, so they'll like dive into it, but then they'll come out and they'll go into toxic shock either way. And if they're able to get out fast enough, they'll recover, and so they sort of go from like being dead to basically like wake up and then they swim away. They're like, "What the fuck was that?
Shit, the fuck was that?" Yeah.
Or they just fucking die, and then literally they'll just drift to these shores that form of all the dead mollusks and shells and shit. It's fucking crazy. You should look it up sometime.
Would you say you find them on the beach, Zach?
Stop! We're not.
I'm about to quit. I'm about to quit
again.
If it does not fit, you must have quit.
Again.
That's an OJ. Okay. That's an OJ reference right there.
Fucking, I don't know where you went there for, but okay.
It's quit. I don't know. I forget if it was the Blue Hole in Belize, but it was another like popular sinkhole that a lot of people go to, where like I think 3/4 of the way down there is a layer of this brine, so there's no fish underneath it.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess it's like it's super dense. Like things just sink once it gets to that level, I guess.
Yeah.
So they took a submersible. I don't know if it was manned or unmanned, but they went below this brine pool, and they found these weird like stalactites that I guess showed how old the cave was. But they also found fucking 2 bodies and a Coke bottle down there.
No.
Have you guys
the deep sea wants to share a Coke?
Yeah. Have you
share a Coke with Davy Jones' locker?
Have you guys ever seen anything about the Blue Hole off of the coast of Belize?
No.
Mm-mm.
So it's a submarine sinkhole. It's fucking crazy, and it's a very popular location for scuba diving and skydiving, both of which I want to do there. But apparently, it is fucking chock full of sharks, which are like. Literally, those are one of the only things I'm afraid of in the ocean is fucking sharks.
Dude, you couldn't pay me any amount of money to go skydiving. There's no way.
What about scuba diving?
Yeah, totally.
Actually, what was funny, there was one day I decided to go snorkeling while I was down in Cuba. And I went to this area that was usually clear, but I guess the undercurrents a bit strong that day because it was just silty as shit. And I jumped in. I looked around and went, I can't see anything. I need to get the fuck out of this water right now.
I'd be much, much more comfortable like scuba diving than I would be skydiving.
Yeah, I can see that.
I think so too, yeah.
I have more control scuba diving.
You think.
So here's the thing with me is that like I would rather be like in the sky in a plane than like deep in the ocean. But if I had to choose between being in the sky and then jumping out of the plane that I'm in and being in the ocean, I'd choose being in the ocean.
Being in the ocean, easy.
The only issue is like, say you do the inverse where you're in the ocean deep and you have to get out. There's only so fast
we get the bends.
Yeah, because you got to do your decompression stops.
Yeah.
I remember
that's true. I guess it depends on like how quickly like if you're trying to escape something,
you're gonna get after a certain depth. You're gonna get the bends no matter what. Like the world record holder for like the deepest scuba thing, I forget what the length or what the depth was, but I think it took him like 17 minutes to get down to it, and it took him like 17 hours to be able to come back up. This dude, the pictures are crazy. He's got like 15 spare he's got like 15 spare oxygen tanks hooked to him because he just had to keep swapping them. Because also after you hit a certain depth, you have to go to what's known as mixed air because oxygen actually becomes toxic after a certain depth. Yeah. So you have to use like a nitrogen oxygen mix. But yeah, this guy, the pictures are crazy. Look it up sometime. But he's got like 15.
So he had to take. So per minute he went down, he had to spend an hour to come back
Something
up.
Like that, yeah.
Holy shit, man.
Dude, fuck that.
Because he went so deep, there was just so much nitrogen in his blood from the pressure and from what he was breathing in that he could go up by inches at a time or else he would die pretty much.
Cause when you get like the bends is basically like if you go up too fast, you basically like your fucking blood cells burst.
So what it is because you've got nitrogen in your blood and the nitrogen expands. And I forget if it's like your blood cells that explode or whatever. The biggest thing is that it causes, I think, an embolism. It's been years since I went scuba diving, so my knowledge is a little rusty. But basically, yeah, it gets air in your bloodstream and that fucks you up.
I love the ocean, but also the ocean makes me just infinitely uncomfortable.
I'm the same way.
Like,
it's funny because people are like, how are you scared of sharks? And how are you scared of the ocean? I'm like, I can love something, but also respect and fear it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
I actually got scuba certified when I was out in Africa, which was awesome. But I remember for our second and final open water dive before I get certified, they took us out into this area, and it was kind of what I described in Cuba, where it's just so silty, you can't see anything. It's colloquially called like diving in the soup or diving in the iced tea. And literally it was like we're sitting on the bottom, and if I extended my hand out like this, I could not see my hand. It cut off right around my forearm right here.
Fuck that.
Like that's how fucking thick this stuff was. So literally me and my dive buddy were just sitting there, arms interlinked so we don't fucking lose each other, just like, I hope the dive instructor didn't lose us, because they were there was a group of like 3 or 4 of us with each instructor, and basically it was you sat there, you waited till they came to you, they ran you through a couple of fucking different failure drills, and they brought you to the surface. But yeah, it was weird, like just sitting there being like, I can't see anything, and of course my mind goes to XCOM Terror from the Deep, which takes place at like the bottom of the ocean. I'm like, holy shit, like I can't even imagine like if I was like in like a weighted dive suit hunting aliens in this, that'd be fucking scary.
Fuck that.
I think about, have you seen the game Subnautica?
Yes.
Have you seen anything about
that? That game is actually hard to play as a diver now because it like I just get so immersed in it. Well, that's that thing that I was telling you about, Sam, that's in Seattle that I would look to do if if I end up getting out of my current business is the Divers Institute of Technology to basically become like an underwater welder. Now those guys, I'll get into this.
Good money in that. Thing. Good money in that.
There's that, and also there's saturation diving. After you're done, Cole, remind me to tell you. I forget what the fucking thing is called, but basically the like underwater habitat where scientists will live for like 2 weeks at a time.
I used to know a couple cats who did like underwater welding for TVA because
there's
like
a lot of money in it.
They're the stories that they come back with are fucking like, I don't know if half of them I'm like, you're bullshitting with me, and the other half are like, I can't
maybe you're not
tell.
bullshitting with me.
Like
dude,
because
diving,
they're like welding,
level,
they're welding
crazy.
like they're welding down like at the very, very bottom, like sometimes on like Watts Bar Dam. And if anyone is aware of Watts Bar Dam, that's a nuclear reactor type area.
I bet they see some crazy shit down there. If there's ever been any radiation leaking or anything.
They do. They see like it's not like the weird like Chernobyl pigs, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
that's a fucking super villain origin story waiting to happen.
Maybe I've
Dive man.
Maybe I've heard multiple of them talk about like big fuck off fish. Imagine like you're hearing nothing down there and just bloop, bloop.
Well, you're not hearing that. All you're hearing is
you're like,
fucking,
what the fuck was that?
Oh yeah, that'd be, like I said, terrifying, but also awesome.
Is it good money because of the risk inherently involved with doing it, or is it good money because of how long you work, or is it like a combination of both?
Combination of that and just the sheer lack of people in the industry.
And also, I would assume skill.
Well, yeah, it's a very niche skill.
Yeah.
But like a needed skill at the same time.
Oh, absolutely.
For sure.
I mean, because you got these guys, they're working on the substructure of like a fucking oil rig. So you're going down there with these, you might have to replace a chain, and each link weighs like 300 pounds, which doesn't really mean anything because you're using buoyancy control devices and everything.
Yeah.
But someone's got to get down there and do it, and they haven't developed robots to do it yet.
If given the choice, would you rather like go like basically see like the mapped out version of like the ocean, like the ocean floor, or would you rather go to like space, like to like Mars?
I think I'd rather go to space.
See, I'm the same way.
I have since I was a kid, I've always wanted to go to space.
like fully.
Of course, I'm
like
too
they're like, hey,
I'm
we
too
need someone for like a
fucking
colony
stupid.
on Mars.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm going.
I'd be like those. I'd be like the security guy for the colony or some shit. I'm so fucking dumb when it comes to math
I'll brew
and
beer.
science.
I'll make whiskey. I'll be like, y'all need libations at some point.
You would be under the botany section because you'd be in charge of all the hops and everything.
Damn right I would be. Damn right I would be.
I don't want to be like in the first wave of colonists.
Oh god, no! I'd go on like the second or even the third wave. You know, like
I don't know. I kind of want that glory. I kind of want to be like, I want like my name on that like plaque.
But
so
I'd also
good.
be fine just going up to like the ISS and hanging out.
I want to be like the Davy Crockett of Mars.
I'd be happy to be on the ISS. Like if I could go to the ISS like now, I would be happy.
If the NASA called me tomorrow and said, "Hey, we want to put you on the ISS," I'd be like, "Fuck it, I'm going on sabbatical. Thanks, government."
Yeah, sorry guys, I'll be back in who knows when.
Yeah.
Of course, I would.
I'm taking a leave of absence real fast.
I would beg, plead, scream, and cry my way to get to that 100 days to where you get the ISS patch that they award. There's a guy. He was on Joe Rogan recently, and I actually learned a lot of this saturation diving stuff from him because he spent the 2 weeks down in that underwater habitat pretty much. But I guess he got to like 98 days, and then the recovery shuttle came to get him, and like he tried, and they just would not swing it to let him stay for that 100 days to get the patch.
Well, that sucks.
They should have. I mean,
And,
like,
and it's funny because everyone
broken my fucking
everyone
heart.
in the comments is like, "Fucking give him the patch." Like NASA's gonna go on Joe Rogan's podcast comments and see that.
Yeah.
All right, I've been talking for way too long. Cole, what did you want to be when you grew up?
no, I mean, because like mine's like super boring. Like, I played Phoenix Wright when I was a kid, and I wanted to be a lawyer.
So it's funny. That's also a thing I've explored about doing as well.
Yeah, no, well, and it was really.
I would kill to see Zach as a lawyer.
I
Hey,
would
you
too.
Fucking asshole, my client's innocent. He didn't do that shit. Fuck.
It was really sad how I like got talked out of going to like law school.
What happened?
So, as I'm sure everyone knows, I live in Tennessee. I wanted to be a public defense attorney.
Mm-hmm.
Good money.
Because I knew a lot of people that I grew up with. I mean, I was pretty lucky in my life to be born into the family I was born into, to have all the privileges that I was born with.
Well, of course you're lucky. You've got St. Joyce as a mom.
Exactly. I got St. Joyce like always on like in my corner. And so I knew a lot of my friends who didn't, and I knew a lot of people who also didn't have like the same luxuries as me that also got tied up with the law and ended up doing, unfortunately, a bad amount of time sometimes.
Well, and I think we can all agree that the justice system is fucking
It is.
It's all hell in the U.S.
It is. It absolutely is. And so the idea for me was that if I could be that one guy for a group of people, like, yo, I got you. You're like, I'm gonna take care of you.
I'm sorry, I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing at fucking Sam saying he wishes he could see me as a lawyer.
I would love to see you as a lawyer, honestly.
I will say, I did say I would kill to see you as a lawyer, which is great because I need a lawyer after I do that.
How the fuck are you gonna say he wasn't even in the same zip code that night? I'm gonna hold you in contempt of my fist.
But when I was going into college and I spoke to a friend of the family who was at one point was a public defender, who then at that point worked in the private sector as a DA's in the DA's office. He was like, listen, that is a noble thing you want to do. Here's the thing.
Yeah. Here comes the enormous butt.
But you are going to be, for 99.9% of the time, in McMinn County, you're not going to be
That already sounds bad. I don't know where Mickman County is, but it sounds bad.
Sounds like where dreams go to die.
You're not going to be advocating for that kid who was in the wrong place at the right time. You're not going to be advocating for that woman who was just simply defending herself from her, like, deadbeat boyfriend husband who was beating the hell out of her. You're not going to be defending the, like, child who, you know, was trying to escape from some kind of really bad place that they were in. You're going to be defending the dude who just cooked up a shit ton of meth, the dude who definitely committed some kind of sexual assault, the dude who killed a family in a DUI accident, and you're going to go home and you're going to look at yourself in the mirror and you're going to drink yourself to death.
Well, so when I was looking at becoming a lawyer, if I were to become a lawyer, I'd want to be a prosecutor for that very reason. But also, I realized that I would actually want to go into corporate law, because then you're just reading contracts all day. But
yeah.
Someone asked me, they said, what if you did have to be a public defender? I said, I would be the best shitty public defender out there. Like, I would do just good enough to where I wouldn't get, like, disbarred. But I'd be like, fuck it. It might have been his DNA. Let's do a blood test.
That was the other thing with public defending is he's like, also, you might have like 5 minutes before you like appear before the judge to like prepare your case.
Oh yeah, no,
because you have so many cases to defend for.
Yeah, because like when being a public defender, you're the lawyer that is assigned to you if you cannot afford a lawyer.
Right. You are the lawyer that the state is providing based on your rights as an American.
Miranda rights. Hey, Cole, you should just take the LSAT for shits and giggles just to see how you score.
Dude, fuck that. Two of my friends became lawyers. I like looked at their like the practice test.
Oh, I've got a couple right here. Here, Sam, I'll give you a fucking reference to how thick these books are.
Oh my god.
They are not, dude, the PLSAT is fucked. If anyone's watching this that's a lawyer, kudos to you, my friend. That shit is fucking mental.
Just because I want to hear your reaction. These are 3 of the test books. You'll be able to see them better. There. And these things are no joke. I mean, these are all these are all actual like previous LSATs they were given, but it's like you can't half-ass studying these things either.
It's a lot. It is a fucking lot.
Yeah, I think I'd much rather be an underwater welder than a fucking lawyer at this point too.
I'm totally fine with being like a liquor salesman. That's totally up my alley, and I'm fully okay with that.
Sam, what did you want to be?
What did you want to be, Sam?
So I had a lot of weird shit happen to me in my upbringing, and one of those things, like I was a very like creative kid, but I won't name names, but a particular adult in my life when I was a kid told me that creativity was gay, and so
wow, sounds like an awesome fucking family member. What a fucking prick and or cunt.
Yeah, I'll tell you who it is after the podcast.
I fully co-sign that person being a prick and or cunt and or both.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It didn't really stop me from being, because again, I went to go like live with my dad when I was still relatively young. So I was
Shouts out to St. Tim. Shouts out to St. Tim.
What?
Shouts out to St. Tim.
Not to sidebar. How old were you when your dad got custody of you?
I would have been like 11.
Okay, so that's funny because my dad got custody of me when I was 10.
Yeah, so around that time. But I actually, funnily enough, I wanted to be a writer when I grew up. So I did a lot of writing,
I'm about to say like
poems all the time.
Two authors right in front of me right now, Bubby.
I was gonna say you're realizing that with an undisclosed project right now.
Yeah, I am. Yeah, he is,
which is fun. I took a little bit of a break from that actually over the last couple of weeks.
Well, listen, I trust me, I know you get fucking burnt out.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm going to do some writing, and then you're like halfway through the sentence, you're like, why the fuck am I doing this today?
both of you, if I can gas both you up, are really good writers. Like,
oh, thank you, Cole.
I've read both of your stuff, and it's really, really good.
Thanks. But But I did. I really loved writing, and I loved like writing. I used to write like poetry and like little short stories and like all kinds of stuff like that. And so I've always loved the concept of writing. And
did you ever this is what I used to do as a kid? Did you ever write basically like the plot of video games, but then add like you and your friends as characters?
Yes, I did. So this is something I've discussed in a podcast previously, but there is floating out there on fanfiction.net a very, very lengthy Kingdom Hearts fanfiction that I wrote. That was basically what my plot of Kingdom Hearts 3 was, or it would have been 3 because 3 was like it was like 10 years. It's out there floating around somewhere. It was super like edgelord bullshit.
Of course it was.
And nobody will ever see the light of day.
Your favorite hedgehog was Shadow, like the rest of us. I mean, fucking A.
Of course. Yeah. I will put this out there because I don't think it'll ever happen because I don't like do YouTube properly, I guess. But if I can get 1,000 subscribers on this channel, which is enough to let me monetize my videos, I will release that fan fiction. That's my...
Is it Kingdom Hearts 3,
and that's the day that Sam gets canceled.
What did you say, Zach?
Was it Kingdom Hearts 3, the Keyblade War?
No, it wasn't.
Isn't that a thing that actually happened in Kingdom Hearts?
Yes, it was. That was the plot of Kingdom Hearts 3 was the Keyblade War. What? If you read the username, I'll be able to tell you better because I don't remember what the title of it was.
Well, there's fucking 10,000 of these fucking things on there.
And that's why I'm confident it'll never be found. Anyway. So I actually did. Okay, so I'm far enough away from it that I feel okay telling this story because it was like in the 4th grade or something like that.
Oh, God. Okay.
But in the 4th grade, we had this like creative writing project that we had to do. And I was just like, I didn't want to do it because that was like, because the fourth grade at the time, it was like halfway into 4th grade was when I was still in Arizona, and then I moved the other half of 4th grade. And I didn't want to do it because I didn't like doing that kind of stuff when I was back in Arizona for some obvious reasons. And what wound up happening was I took a Chicken Soup for the Kids soul book.
Dude, I used to love those when I was a kid.
They were so good.
They're really good.
I took a Chicken Soup for the Kids soul book and on paper, word for word, copied the Chicken Soup for the Kids soul story and turned it in, and my teacher gave me an A.
Nice.
And that was the first, I will say it's the first and I believe only time I've ever like intentionally plagiarized. But my God, it was like this 4th grade kid taking, and the teacher had the book in her classroom and the teacher didn't suspect anything. And it was the perfect crime, and I felt very good about it until maybe the end of 4th grade year when I realized, holy shit, that was a bad thing that I did.
Yeah, but I mean, you know.
Yeah, it is what it is. Kids will be kids.
Yeah, seriously. I mean, when I it's funny that you brought that up. When I was like young before I really got good at writing, I basically like my stories would just be like, I'm going to take this plot from this video game. I'm going to take this plot from this movie. I'm going to reference these characters. I'm just going to mishmash them all into an original story, pretty much.
Well, you have like, the thing with that is like you have the basic framework of how like most stories these days happen.
That is true.
Is that most authors, most directors, creators take, I mean, obviously they don't do it quite as deliberately and obviously as that, but they take inspiration and infuse it into their stuff.
Well, there's a great quote out there, and I forget who it is by, but it basically says the best fiction comes from reality. And that's why, like for a lot of my characters, they're based on real people. I mean, shit, for Occupant, it's fucking based on all the guys from the old Slack, pretty much.
Yep. So, yeah, just pulling some real life stuff in there. And like, and I don't want to talk about what I'm working on just
well,
yet.
That's why I kept it vague.
Yeah. But I will say there, you know, I pulled some inspiration from real life into that, you know, and again, like
you've nailed some of those conversations between two particular characters.
Some of the characters have drawn some inspiration from people that I know that might be on this vidcast at the moment. So it's very like, it's such a subconscious thing too, because we're so influenced subconsciously and like subliminally by the things that we have that not only happen in our real lives, but like the things that we experience, in the greater world of entertainment, right? And like it's next to impossible to not like throw that stuff down. I mean, the whole reason why fantasy exists in such a popular way is because people were inspired by Tolkien. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like that's why, and they keep on being inspired by Tolkien, and that's why fantasy is the
speaking of fantasy, even though it's a little more sci-fi fantasy, did you guys see the fucking trailer for Dune?
I have not yet.
Dude.
Okay, Cole.
And look. I'm a fan of Dune. I fully am a fan of Dune. I have not read the book. I watched like the old David Lynch version because
Cole, you should read the book. It's phenomenal.
That's what I've heard. So many people told me like you should read Dune, and like I plan on it. So
I actually read it for the first time last year.
Here's
really.
Yeah.
Here's what I want to actually really do on this to kind of like close out, because we're getting close to time for this episode. Is I want Cole to watch the Dune trailer
right now.
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I can overlay it on the screen. That's Timothy Chalamet, Zach.
Oh, okay. Wow, talk about bringing it full circle.
What did you see? There's a crusade coming. Do you often dream things that happen just as you dreamed them?
Yes.
He's so good. Like, he's just like...
There's so many good fucking actors in this.
The test is simple.
This whole fucking movie.
Remove your hand from the box, and you die.
What's in the box?
Pain. You inherit too much power. You have proven you can rule yourself. Now you must learn to rule others. Something none of your ancestors learned.
God, I love Oscar Isaac so much.
So actually, I was wrong, Sam. I had the characters reversed as to who I thought Josh Brolin and Oscar Isaac were.
You'll lose that one too.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Arrakis is a death trap.
Love the visuals in this. It looks so good.
Batista!
This is an extermination. They're picking my family off one by one.
Yeah, the aesthetic of this movie
looks so good. It's funny because it looks damn near exactly how I pictured it in my mind when I was reading it.
Will gnaw off its own leg to escape. What will you do?
I know you.
Oh, the song. Oh, love it.
One day, the legend will be born.
I remember that scene exactly from the book, too.
All of civilization depends on it.
The future. I can see it. I must not fear. Fear is the mind killer.
I was very excited about what they show here at the end too, because I was curious to see what they were going to make them look like.
Yeah, will remain.
Yeah, same. And I'm glad they did show it, because I think that's important for people.
Especially for those who follow it.
Yeah.
And it's. I'll go into this afterward, but one thing God, it's going to be so fucking good. Right, Cole?
Like, that looks good,
dude. If anything, get the audiobook for it, because I feel like
I will.
And there was a comment that I saw in one of the YouTube videos that fucking explained it very well, where it said this, like just from that trailer, it's obvious that this is being made by someone who loves the book.
Mm-hmm. that like cares about the subject.
And like I
matter.
said, it fucking looks exactly how I imagined in the book. But what's interesting, I noted about the sandworm, and this will lead me back to the thing I wanted to talk about before we end this, is it almost had like those bristle teeth you see on like blue whales and shit like that.
Yeah,
which makes sense because it would have to filter through the sand.
Yeah, to filter all that shit in. Yeah.
So the thing I wanted to talk about before we end, because I felt bad that I dominated like the first half of this with my underwater.
Dude, no. Like, well, it was a conversation. Yeah, you're fine.
It was but like here's the thing though, and it was all interesting shit.
Well, I'm glad you guys found it as interesting as I did.
If it was like, if you were like coming through with like some like banal bullshit, I would have been like, Zach, shut the fuck up.
Which is completely understandable had you done that. So there's this, I forget what it's called, but there's this basically, because it's saturation diving, which means your body is basically used to the level of nitrogen that's at the depth that they're at, which I think is like 70 feet at the bottom. It's fairly shallow, and I think it's off like the Florida Keys that they do this, but it allows them a bottom time. So bottom time in scuba diver speak is like how much time you have that you can basically be down at whatever depth you're going to be before your air runs out, or before you have to go up before the bends become so big that you're going to have to spend hours decompressing. So for like me, with the most basic open water diver thing where I can go down to 60 feet, I usually have between an hour to 90 minutes bottom time. Well, these guys, because they're saturated with the nitrogen, their bottom time is like 8 hours. And literally what they do is it's almost like a space station, but at the bottom of the sea. And they live down there for 2 weeks. They run all sorts of experiments, and they'll be out there scuba diving, and they've got little valves on the outside that they go in. They hook it up to their tanks, fills it right up, and they're back out there fucking diving. It's really cool. Some of the videos that have come out from that, and I guess there's like portholes in it. So like at nighttime they'll like be looking out, and they'll just be like a big fish looking in, like, hey, what's going on in there? Because obviously it's totally lit. It's pretty neat. Yeah. The scariest thing I've seen scuba diving so far in my 6 dives that I've done was we were swimming. It was off the coast of Djibouti, and there,
off the coast of what?
Where?
Djibouti.
Thank you.
Cool. And I didn't see any sharks out there, and it was cool because we saw like a bunch of moray eels and shit like that. They look goofy as shit because they're just sitting in the coral, just sort of gobbing at the water.
That's my favorite thing. Have you seen that meme where it's like, why do moray eels always look like they told you a really bad joke and are waiting for you to respond?
they do. It's really funny. But the skip.
Yeah, cool, exactly like that.
Pretty much, yeah. So like, but also imagine they're sort of gobbing at the air too.
Yeah.
Those things will fuck you up though if they bite you.
Oh, for sure.
But the scariest thing I saw was we were swimming. We had the reef to our right, with the open ocean to our left. So we were swimming southward, and there was a fucking barracuda, probably about 50 feet over my left shoulder. Those are just evil looking fish.
Barracuda.
And this thing just looked evil, and it didn't do anything. It didn't take off. It was just floating there, but just fucking, it's like a wraith almost. Just like, ugh, just thinking about it. And I haven't seen a shark out diving. I don't know how I'm going to react when I see a shark out diving. I'm not looking forward to it.
Well, they tell you that like you should just punch it in its like nose, and it'll just get so
or attack the
it'll
gills
just like fuck
too.
off.
Well, also like grab its gills and just
grab its gills, fucking punch it,
grab
whatever.
its gills, fucking knee it in the fucking chest.
Give it an RKO on the way down.
I think honestly, that's what's
hit it with the elbow drop from the top rope, brother. Yeah,
that's what's the scariest thing about the ocean. This is my basically clue and
fucking stone cold stunner it, just like.
That'd be great. Then it's just sort of floating there. It's like, what the fuck? You
have two Bud Lights underwater.
You don't move that slow underwater, Cole. I'll have to share some of my dive videos with you sometime, Sam.
Sure.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Actually, I could probably do that on Parsec next time. But
yeah, for sure.
But that's what scares me about the ocean is well, when you can't fucking see, like those 2 times that I described, but also the fact that it's not on land where anything that's coming at you is usually coming at you or possibly coming from above you. It's fucking 360. You are not the apex predator in the water. And that is fucking terrifying.
Absolutely
and
not.
The fact that they can hit you from up, down, left, right, above, behind, fucking wherever they want to fucking get you.
I mean, fucking A.
Yeah. And guess what? You don't get 10 extra lives. The Contra Code don't give a shit about you.
Konami, cue the Konami sound here.
My closing comments, because I don't think I've ever had such a unique opportunity and such a conversational cross so as to bring this person up. But have you guys ever heard of Shark Boy before? Not the Shark Boy and Lava Girl, but Shark Boy, the professional wrestler.
No, I was thinking Lava Girl.
I thought you were talking like Lava Girl too.
No. Shark Boy is a professional wrestler who he's masked wrestler, and he has a shark mask with like a fin on the top. And he was just like a jobber wrestler for a time, and then there was a storyline where he bumped his head and thought he was Stone Cold Steve Austin, except shark themed. And so he wore like the vest with a 316, and he would do the beers and the stuff like that. But he would drink like oyster juice instead of beer, and then it wasn't real, but
but still.
And then he would go, "Give me a shell, yeah." It was just like ocean themed Steve Austin.
Funny.
Shark Boy upping the stakes.
If you'd like to see those 2 jelly bellies gone from TNA for good, give me a shell, yeah. What? What? Shell, yeah.
And it was maybe the best thing I've ever seen in my life. I don't
like it.
Yeah,
I don't like it.
And I guess
Cole, your closing comments.
Yeah, you have any closing comments, Cole?
I don't like.
Shut the
I don't
fuck
like Shark
up,
Boy.
Cole. Sam, end the episode.
I don't like Shark Boy.
Yeah, well, fuck you too, Cole. Bye.